Nobody expected the room to go that quiet. When the envelope opened and Kendrick Lamar's name was announced, the entire arena shifted. Not just applause, not just cheers. It was that split-second pause, that electric, frozen moment, where everyone realized something major had just happened. And the cameras, they cut exactly where the internet knew they would. Straight to Drake. The look on his face wasn't dramatic. It wasn't exaggerated. It was subtle, but subtle as all social media needs. Within seconds, clips were flying across timelines. Did you see Drake's reaction? Why did he look like that? Was he shocked? Was he annoyed? The debate exploded before Kendrick even reached the MIC. But here's what made this different. This wasn't just another award. This felt symbolic. Kendrick stepping onto that stage represented more than a trophy. It represented narrative momentum. After months of tension, comparisons, and online debates about who really owns the culture right now, this one felt like a statement. And the crowd's reaction? It said everything. The cheers weren't polite. They were loud, sustained, emotional. You could see people on their feet. You could feel the energy through the screen. It wasn't just industry applause. It was validation. And when Kendrick began speaking, calm and composed as always, the arena leaned in. No over-celebration. No theatrics. Just quiet confidence. That kind of presence hits differently when the stakes are high. Meanwhile, Drake's reaction clip kept replaying online. Frame-by-frame breakdowns. Body language analysts. Fans arguing over whether he was genuinely surprised or simply caught in an awkward camera angle. But perception doesn't wait for clarification. It moves fast. Suddenly, this award became more than recognition. It became a chapter in a larger story. Was this the moment the balance shifted? Was this proof that Kendrick's recent run is dominating not just critically, but culturally? Or are fans reading too much into one camera cut? One thing's for sure, the crowd didn't hesitate. And when the crowd speaks that loudly, the entire industry listens. The second Kendrick Lamar's name echoed through the arena, something shifted, not just in the room, but across the entire culture. You could feel it, that sharp inhale before the cheers, that half-second where cameras scrambled to capture reactions. And when the broadcast cut to Drake, the internet practically leaned closer to the screen. Because this wasn't just another award handed out at a glamorous ceremony. This was symbolic. For months, fans have debated who truly controls the narrative in hip-hop right now. Commercial dominance versus cultural weight. Streaming numbers versus critical acclaim. And in one envelope reveal, it felt like the scales tipped, at least publicly. The crowd's reaction wasn't casual applause. It was loud, sustained, almost defiant. You could see artists rising from their seats, industry veterans nodding with approval, younger artists cheering like they were witnessing validation for a movement bigger than one man. The energy wasn't just celebratory, it was emotional. And that's where the tension thickens. Drake has built an empire on consistency and commercial power. His catalog stretches across genres, charts, and continents. He's the blueprint for modern streaming success. So when Kendrick's name is called in a high-profile category, it automatically becomes more than a win. It becomes comparison fuel. Social media wasted no time turning a 3-second camera shot into a full-blown narrative. Some fans said Drake looked stunned. Others argued he looked neutral, maybe even respectful. But perception online doesn't rely on fairness. It relies on virality. And once the clip started trending, the framing was locked in. Kendrick wins. Drake stunned. It spread like wildfire. But what truly amplified the moment wasn't Drake's face. It was Kendrick's composure. As he walked to the stage, there was no exaggerated celebration. No chest thumping. Just controlled confidence. The kind of presence that says, I expected this. That energy hits differently when the rivalry backdrop exists. When Kendrick reached the MIC, he didn't mention Drake. He didn't reference tension. Instead, he spoke about artistry, growth, and the responsibility of influence. That choice was strategic in itself. By not acknowledging the narrative, he elevated himself above it, at least in that moment. That silence, it roared louder than any direct jab could have. Meanwhile, Analysts online began dissecting what this award actually represents. Awards don't always determine legacy, but they do influence perception. And perception shapes conversation. The crowd's overwhelming support suggested something deeper. That Kendrick's impact resonates on a cultural level that extends beyond charts. For Drake fans, this moment felt overblown. They pointed to numbers, global tours, record-breaking streams. One award doesn't change dominance, many argued. And they're not wrong. But in competitive eras, even symbolic victories carry weight. Because this rivalry isn't measured purely in sales. It's measured in moments. And this felt like a moment. Industry insiders began speculating about how this could shift upcoming narratives. Would Kendrick's win influence festival buzz, media coverage, award season momentum? Would Drake respond musically? Or would he ignore the noise and continue operating at his usual pace? The psychological layer here is fascinating. Being compared constantly, decade after decade, creates silent pressure. Even for superstars, even for veterans. Publicly, both artists maintain composure. But privately, competition fuels evolution. The camera cut to Drake wasn't accidental. Producers understand storylines. They know what viewers are watching for. That split-screen energy, winner on stage, competitor in the audience, creates drama without anyone saying a word. And drama equals engagement. Within hours, hashtags trended worldwide. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. TikTok creators reenacted the moment. Twitter threads debated body language. Some declared it a cultural shift. Others dismissed it as exaggerated narrative building. But here's the reality. When thousands of people in a room erupt for one artist, it sends a signal. It doesn't erase another artist's success. It doesn't rewrite history. But it signals where emotional momentum might be leaning at that moment in time. And momentum in music culture can snowball quickly. This award win didn't crown a king permanently. It didn't dethrone anyone. But it injected fresh energy into a rivalry that thrives on subtle tension. Now the question becomes, what happens next? Does Drake channel this into creative fuel? Does Kendrick build on the validation? Does the next public appearance add another layer to the story? Because in modern hip-hop, narratives move fast. And this wasn't just an acceptance speech. It was a checkpoint in a long-running battle for cultural supremacy. The crowd's reaction said it all. But the aftermath might say even more. As the echo of the applause faded, the world began to process what had just happened. Kendrick Lamar's award win was more than a trophy. It was a statement. And in the center of it all, Drake's stunned expression became Was Drake genuinely caught off guard? Or was this carefully controlled composure hiding something deeper? The reactions weren't limited to fans. Industry analysts immediately began assessing what this win could mean for the ongoing narrative between Kendrick and Drake. On paper, awards don't always determine influence or supremacy, but perception can be just as powerful as numbers. In an era dominated by social media and instant virality, public perception often shapes an artist's legacy more dramatically than sales or chart positions. One viral clip, one crowd reaction, can set the tone for months, sometimes years. Kendrick's victory, amplified by the audience's genuine energy, quickly became a cultural moment. The arena itself became a character in this unfolding drama. Camera angles, live reactions, and strategic cuts created a story that felt cinematic. It wasn't just an award, it was a narrative moment captured for posterity. The juxtaposition of Kendrick accepting the award with calm, measured confidence and Drake's brief hesitation created a natural storyline that social media eagerly consumed. Commentators dissected his every expression, the slight widening of eyes, the subtle tension in his jaw, the lean back into his seat. Even casual fans noticed something, and that was enough to ignite millions of conversations. Kendrick's approach to the stage was deliberate. He didn't shout, he didn't gesture extravagantly, he didn't make the moment about spectacle. His composure conveyed authority and mastery, reinforcing the idea that this win wasn't a fluke or luck. By letting the audience's reaction and the award itself carry the emotional weight, Kendrick positioned himself as the calm, grounded force in the room. His demeanor also subtly contrasted with Drake's fleeting expression, highlighting the psychological dimension of their rivalry. The calmness of one, the visible processing of the other, created a narrative tension that social media couldn't resist amplifying. Behind the scenes, this moment triggered a flurry of strategic moves. Artists, managers, and PR teams quickly began analyzing the implications. How does this affect streaming campaigns, future collaborations, festival lineups, award season momentum? Social media engagement skyrocketed, trending hashtags multiplied, and online content creators rushed to post analyses, reactions, and breakdowns. In a single evening, a short clip turned into a sprawling multi-platform discussion, bridging casual audiences and hardcore fans alike. It became clear that this moment wasn't just about who won the award. It was about controlling narrative momentum in real time. For Drake, the psychological impact was subtle but significant. Even superstars are susceptible to moments that challenge perception. A split-second reaction can be magnified into a defining image. Social media thrives on context and framing. In this case, Kendrick's composed confidence combined with Drake's micro-expression created a story of contrast. Fans immediately latched onto it, crafting memes, reaction videos, and opinion threads that position Kendrick as the dominant figure in the moment. Even without words, perception became a tool of influence. The wider hip-hop community began to respond almost instantly. Fellow artists, influencers, and commentators weighed in on social media, further fueling the narrative. Discussions focused not only on who was superior in that moment, but what this meant for the ongoing rivalry. Streaming platforms saw spikes in Kendrick's catalog, likely driven by the award's visibility and the renewed attention to his artistry. Drake's fanbase mobilized in response, defending his legacy while amplifying his achievements. It was a perfect storm of attention, positioning, and narrative control. And then there's the emotional layer. For fans, witnessing a high-profile award in real time, paired with a rival's reaction, creates engagement on multiple levels. It's not just about music or accolades. It's about drama, rivalry, and storytelling. Human psychology is wired to respond to contrast, tension, and resolution, all of which were present in that brief award moment. Online, the story was being rewritten every second. Clips were remixed, captions added, and opinions debated across platforms, creating a viral feedback loop that extended the impact far beyond the stage. This phase of the rivalry illustrates how cultural moments can shape perception in the digital era. Awards, while traditional measures of recognition, are now entwined with audience engagement and social media virality. A single moment, strategically amplified, can alter narratives, influence future collaborations, and redefine perceived dominance. Kendrick's win, coupled with Drake's visible response, demonstrates the interplay of artistry, perception, and timing in the modern music landscape. As the night progressed, the long-term implications began to take shape. Conversations about legacy, relevance, and dominance were reignited. Fans debated rankings, dissected every lyric, and analyzed the cultural weight of the award. What was initially a fleeting moment transformed into a benchmark for comparison. This wasn't just a win or a loss. It was a reminder of how influence, visibility, and perception intersect in high-stakes hip-hop rivalries. By the time the event concluded, the viral discussions had already taken on a life of their own. Kendrick's win will be remembered not just for the trophy, but for the reaction it provoked and the way it reframed Drake's public persona in that instant. It became a defining chapter, a cultural checkpoint, and a narrative pivot, proving once again that in today's music landscape, perception can be just as impactful as performance. The moment following Kendrick Lamar's award announcement quickly evolved from celebration into a full-blown cultural phenomenon. The initial applause set the tone, but the real story emerged from the reactions, particularly those of Drake. In the era of instant virality, a single camera angle, a fleeting expression, or a pause can create endless speculation. And in this instance, every frame was dissected, replayed, and analyzed by millions across social media platforms within seconds. The world was watching not only who won, but how the moment was received, and Drake's reaction became a focal point for discussion. trending on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok almost immediately. Kendrick's win carried more than just the prestige of a trophy. It symbolized narrative momentum, a shift in perceived cultural dominance that many fans and analysts argue had been leaning in Drake's favor for months. This moment wasn't simply about recognition from the industry. It was about legitimacy, validation, and the subtle assertion of influence within hip-hop's hierarchy. The crowd's reaction reinforced that statement. Their standing ovation, shouts, and emotional energy amplified Kendrick's position, creating a ripple effect that extended far beyond the walls of the arena. Drake's expression became an involuntary storytelling device. The subtle widening of his eyes, the slight furrow of his brow, and the way he leaned back in his seat all suggested a mix of surprise. The commercial titan, confronted with Kendrick, the cultural force, and the audience as the ultimate judge. What made Kendrick's approach so compelling was the composure he maintained throughout. There was no over-celebration, no theatrics, no exaggerated gestures. His controlled demeanor contrasted sharply with the tension the camera captured from Drake, and that contrast fueled online discussion. By allowing the audience's reaction and the award itself to carry the emotional weight, Kendrick positioned himself as confident, self-assured, and in command. His presence reinforced the idea that this moment wasn't about spectacle. It was about substance, artistry, and influence. Social media seized on that distinction immediately, amplifying the drama without any words being spoken directly between the two artists. The dynamics in the arena extended beyond the stage. Fellow artists, producers, and industry professionals were visibly reacting, and those reactions added layers to the narrative. The murmurs, nods, and applause from peers reinforced Kendrick's stature and contributed to the story of legitimacy that surrounded this win. This wasn't just a fan-driven moment. It was a multi-level affirmation from both the audience and the industry. In an environment where perception often translates into influence, these micro-reactions become powerful signals, creating momentum that can shape future opportunities, collaborations, and media narratives. Behind the scenes, the award win sparked strategic considerations. Management teams, PR advisors, and label executives immediately assessed the ripple effects. Questions about streaming campaigns, social media engagement, and festival lineups were debated in real time. The focus wasn't simply on celebrating the win, but on understanding how this moment could shift cultural attention and redefine the current balance of power between Kendrick and Drake. In the digital era, a single high-profile event can dominate the news cycle for days, influencing everything from media coverage to fan engagement. The psychological element of this rivalry cannot be understated. Drake, accustomed to consistent visibility and commercial dominance, faced a moment when narrative perception shifted unexpectedly. Even superstars are not immune to the power of a well-timed cultural statement. Kendrick, on the other hand, leveraged calm composure and strategic timing, demonstrating that influence is often about restraint and precision rather than volume. Social media immediately picked up on this contrast, and the resulting discourse transformed the award win into a layered story about influence, legacy, and perception in modern hip-hop. Fans quickly divided into camps. Some emphasized Drake's long-term achievements, arguing that no single award could overshadow a decade-plus of commercial dominance. Others highlighted the cultural significance of Kendrick's victory and the audience's passionate response. These discussions played out across multiple platforms, from detailed analytical threads on Twitter to reaction videos on YouTube and TikTok, creating a viral feedback loop that ensured the moment would dominate conversations long after the ceremony concluded. The emotional resonance of this event also contributed to its impact. Audiences connect not only with the music or accolades, but with the drama, tension, and storytelling that unfold in real time. The awards ceremony provided all of these elements in abundance: surprise, contrast, and subtle competitive energy. Clips were remixed, commentary multiplied, and online debates exploded. Each piece of content reinforced the significance of the moment, ensuring it would be remembered not just as an award win but as a cultural touchstone that illuminated the dynamics between two of hip-hop's most influential figures. By the end of the evening, it was clear that this award had transcended its immediate purpose. It was no longer just a recognition of artistic achievement. It had become a catalyst for discussion about cultural relevance, narrative control, and legacy. The combination of Kendrick's calm confidence, the crowd's overwhelming reaction, and Drake's brief, highly scrutinized response created a multidimensional story that captured global attention. In an era where perception can shift overnight and social media amplifies every moment, this single award became a pivotal point in the ongoing conversation about who shapes the culture. As discussions continued online and offline, it became evident that this event marked a significant chapter in the evolving rivalry. The award win, the audience's energy, and Drake's reaction collectively reinforced the narrative that influence in hip-hop is not determined solely by numbers or commercial success, but by the moments that resonate culturally and emotionally. In this landscape, every micro-expression, every pause, and every gesture carries weight. Kendrick's victory had created a defining cultural moment, one that would ripple through fan communities, media outlets, and the music industry for months to come. Ultimately, this phase of the story illustrated the power of perception, timing, and narrative control. Kendrick's award, Drake's reaction, and the crowd's palpable energy combined to create a layered, multifaceted moment that transcended the ceremony itself. In a world where influence is as much about narrative momentum as it is about talent or sales, this award win became more than an accolade. It became a defining cultural checkpoint, a testament to how strategy, composure, and public perception intersect to shape the legacies of modern hip-hop icons. The moment had passed, but its ripple effects were just beginning. Kendrick Lamar's award win became more than a recognition of artistry. It became a symbol of cultural influence, a reminder that in today's hip-hop landscape, perception is as powerful as production, and timing is just as important as talent. The internet, ever eager to dissect, replayed every second, scrutinized every expression, and elevated the event into something far bigger than the ceremony itself. Drake's reaction, replayed in countless clips, became the central narrative lens. People weren't just watching the award. They were watching the subtle dance of dominance between two of the genre's titans. The psychological dimension of this moment cannot be overstated. Drake has built his career on consistent visibility, flooding the culture with music, collaborations, and high-profile appearances. Kendrick, in contrast, has often taken a path of precision and strategic scarcity, creating anticipation and impact by carefully curating every public appearance. When the two converge in a high-stakes moment like this, the contrast is dramatic. Drake's fleeting expression, a microcosm of surprise, calculation, and perhaps even reflection, became the perfect counterpoint to Kendrick's calm, confident presence on stage. Fans and analysts immediately began framing the moment as a turning point. Some argued that Kendrick's win signaled a shift in cultural momentum, placing him in the spotlight as the current authority in hip-hop influence. Others countered that Drake's consistent dominance in charts and streams makes this a temporary blip, a momentary narrative spike rather than a permanent shift. Regardless of perspective, the debate itself amplified the impact of the award. In modern music culture, narrative and perception often matter as much as numbers. In every reaction, from Drake's facial expressions to the crowd's sustained applause, contributed to a story that would echo across platforms for days. Kendrick's measured approach amplified the significance. By avoiding overt theatrics, he allowed the audience's energy to carry the weight of the moment. Applause, cheers, and standing ovations became extensions of his influence, reinforcing the idea that his artistry resonates on a level beyond mere commercial success. Social media quickly latched onto this contrast. Posts highlighted the calm confidence of Kendrick versus the transient, subtle reactions of Drake. Frame-by-frame breakdowns went viral, memes were created, and commentary exploded across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Each post, video, and analysis added layers to the cultural narrative, transforming the award win into a broader story about perception, authority, and legacy in hip-hop. The surrounding industry responded just as quickly. Executives, artists, and insiders recognized the significance, analyzing implications for upcoming projects, festival bookings, and collaborations. Every move, every statement, every subtle gesture could potentially shift future opportunities. Streaming numbers for Kendrick's catalog spiked as curiosity and renewed interest fueled consumption. Meanwhile, discussions about Drake's response proliferated, highlighting how a single expression captured under the right lens can influence public perception and fan debates. The night became a case study in modern narrative strategy, where subtle reactions carry as much weight as overt actions. Fans engaged in unprecedented ways, splitting into factions and debating interpretations with fervor. Some emphasized Drake's historical dominance, pointing to his extensive catalog, global tours, and streaming milestones. Others celebrated Kendrick's moment as proof that cultural influence extends beyond charts, that moments of validation and critical recognition resonate powerfully when amplified by fan and industry support. The result was a massive online discourse that extended well beyond the event itself, creating a feedback loop where every new reaction, post, or article fed into the larger narrative. The emotional resonance of the moment also added to its significance. Award shows, in the digital age, are about more than recognition. They are about narrative, drama, and shared experience. The audience's reaction, combined with Kendrick's composure and Drake's subtle response, provided all three elements in abundance. Clips were remixed, discussions proliferated, and online debates continued long after the cameras turned off. In a sense, the award became a live performance of influence, with each participant, artist, fan, and commentator contributing to the unfolding story. In analyzing this moment, it becomes clear that modern hip-hop influence operates on multiple levels. Numbers matter, but so does timing. Talent matters, but so does perception. Visibility matters, but so does restraint. Kendrick's victory, Drake's reaction, and the audience's response collectively illustrate this intricate interplay. Each element contributed to a layered, multidimensional cultural story that highlights how influence is wielded and contested in the current era. Beyond the immediate moment, the long-term implications were already taking shape. Conversations about cultural dominance, legacy, and influence were reignited. Fans and critics debated rankings, dissected lyrics, and speculated about how this moment might impact future collaborations, tours, and releases. The award, once a simple token of achievement, became a symbol of narrative control and public perception, a checkpoint in an ongoing story that spans years of competition, artistry, and audience engagement. Ultimately, this phase of the rivalry demonstrates the evolving nature of influence in modern hip-hop. Kendrick's measured composure, the crowd's unrestrained energy, and Drake's subtle but scrutinized reaction combined to create a moment that extended far beyond the immediate ceremony. The event illustrated that perception can rival production, that narrative can rival numbers, and that influence is as much about moments of resonance as it is about catalog size. In this digital age, one fleeting second, captured at the right angle and amplified across social media, can define a chapter of a rivalry for years to come, shaping conversations, influencing fandoms, and ultimately contributing to the legacies of both artists in profound and enduring ways. As the awards ceremony's energy settled into post-event buzz, it became clear that the night had shifted more than just trophies. It had shifted narratives. Kendrick Lamar's win wasn't just a recognition of his artistry. It was a symbolic moment that altered perception across the entire industry. Every frame of his acceptance, every subtle reaction from Drake, and every cheer from the audience became part of a story bigger than music alone. Clips circulated rapidly, memes exploded across platforms, and the global audience consumed, discussed, and debated the moment as if it were a high-stakes match rather than a single award presentation. The internet, with its insatiable appetite for drama and analysis, instantly turned seconds into narratives and narratives into cultural currency. The dynamics between Kendrick and Drake were amplified by the crowd's response. Standing ovations, prolonged cheers, and visible excitement weren't just emotional expressions. They were cultural endorsements. The audience signaled approval not only for the artistry but also for the perceived assertion of influence. In an era dominated by social media, public perception often drives momentum as much as, if not more than, commercial metrics. Kendrick's composed demeanor, paired with the audience's exuberance, reinforced his authority and contrasted sharply with Drake's fleeting, micro-expressive reaction, creating a layered narrative that fueled both debate and engagement. Social media became the battlefield where the story extended far beyond the arena walls. Fans dissected every moment of Drake's expression, speculating on even minor expressions can be magnified into narratives that redefine public sentiment. Kendrick's controlled composure, in contrast, demonstrated mastery over not only the stage but the story being told. Fans and commentators quickly recognized this contrast, framing it as a strategic display of calm authority versus reactive energy. The result was a compelling case study in influence, narrative control, and psychological nuance within high-stakes rivalries. For fans, the event transcended the award itself. It became a lens through which to examine artistry, legacy, and cultural relevance. The audience's reactions, paired with the juxtaposition of the two artists' behaviors, created a rich tapestry for discussion and debate. TikTok recreations, YouTube analyses, Twitter threads, and Instagram reaction compilations proliferated, transforming a single night into a prolonged cultural dialogue. In an era where narrative velocity often rivals artistic merit, this amplified engagement became part of the artist's broader legacy. The award also highlighted how modern influence operates on multiple levels. While commercial metrics remain important, moments of validation, emotional resonance, and public perception often dictate how an artist is remembered. Kendrick's win, Drake's fleeting reaction, and the crowd's energy collectively demonstrate that influence is not solely determined by output, but by timing, context, and audience engagement. Each micro-expression and subtle gesture contributed to a broader understanding of authority and relevance in hip-hop culture. As the night's conversation continued to dominate social media, the long-term implications for both artists became apparent. Kendrick's victory could reshape perceptions of cultural dominance, reinforcing his influence in ways that extend beyond sales or streams. Drake's reaction, though brief, became a point of discussion that kept him in the conversation, demonstrating that visibility and narrative control remain critical even for established figures. Both artists leveraged different approaches to influence, one through composure and audience validation, the other through presence and ongoing cultural saturation. Ultimately, the awards ceremony became a pivotal chapter in a larger, ongoing story. It highlighted the intricate interplay of artistry, perception, and narrative in modern music culture. Moments of subtlety and composure became as impactful as overt displays, and fan engagement transformed the event into a globally dissected phenomenon. Kendrick's win and Drake's response collectively created a layered, multidimensional narrative, illustrating how influence is wielded, contested, and amplified in the contemporary hip-hop landscape. By the end of the night, one thing was clear: this was more than an award. It was a cultural checkpoint, a narrative pivot, and a moment that would be analyzed, revisited, and referenced for months to come. In a world where perception can rival production, the combination of Kendrick's strategic composure, Drake's nuanced reaction, and the crowd's emotional energy produced a moment that transcended the stage itself. This was a defining chapter in a rivalry, a lesson in influence, and a testament to the power of narrative in shaping legacy. Every micro-expression, every cheer, and every clip contributed to a story that will endure, proving that in modern hip-hop, moments of resonance can define cultural dominance as much as commercial success. The moment has passed, but the conversation is just heating up. Kendrick Lamar's award win and Drake's reaction have sparked debates that show no signs of slowing. This isn't just about trophies. It's about cultural influence, legacy, and who truly commands attention in the hip-hop world today. Fans are dissecting every gesture, every glance, and every cheer, turning a single night into a global discussion that spans platforms and time zones. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Who do you think came out stronger in this moment? Was Kendrick's win a definitive statement, Or does Drake's ongoing dominance still hold weight? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the debate. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss any updates, exclusive analysis, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns as this rivalry continues to unfold. The story is far from over.